I completely agree. It's obvious because they're going those who, it's about movement. It's about movement. It's about getting things moving. It's about motion. It's about getting involved. It's about, you can't play a football match sitting at home. And this is what business is. Business is a game. You got to be out playing the game. You can't play the game from your couch. I'm sorry. I don't care how much armchair football you've done, right? You can't play the game from, maybe in 150 years you'll be able to do that, but you can't do that now. We're not there.
No.
There's like maybe less than 1% of the world is there, right? Remember, developed society is still a minority in terms of how the world functions. There's more people in poverty than in anything else. So it's crazy, and the big companies don't have the flexibility that they need right now. And what about, what crosses my mind? Crisis management. Crisis management. Did the big companies bring in people to manage this as a crisis? I don't think a lot of them did. Not in a serious way. They've sort of slowly relaxed themselves into this kind of, sometimes you have to panic, okay?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to panic. It's the last 5 minutes of the game. You're 2 goals down. It's 2-0. It's the cup final. It's whatever game. They're all important. It's time to panic, right? It's time to throw your arms in the air and try to do everything instead of nothing. It's time that the big companies started to panic and realize that if they don't panic, somebody else is going to come and take their hard work away from them, or they're going to handcuff their employees so their employees can't even do their jobs properly, because the real world is out there. It's not in here. It's a game. It's a game that you play as much away from home as at home, right? So big companies have got to get their players out in the field. They've got to get their players playing. Look what's happening in the cities and states in the US with lockdown. The businesses are crashing. People can't travel. People can't move. People can't go anywhere. Companies have lost the plot. They slow down. Slowing down is, a classic mistake. Yeah. Okay, everything slows down, but the momentum that you build up to get the wheels moving fast doesn't come back easily. Taken years to build up some of the connections and contacts that people have worked at building up, and now people are expected to sit at home and still keep those connections. I mean, that's insane. The world is not ready for that yet. We're not there. I don't know whoever came up with this idea or this strategy, but it's wrong. It's wrong. It's asking. Companies have employed certain people with certain skills to do certain jobs. Now these people can't do their jobs, and it's creating more crisis on top of crisis. It's making bad worse, not better. Trouble is, you can die driving a car.
Yes, exactly.
Trouble is, you can die choking on some food that you ate somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, you can die because of a bad, unhealthy lifestyle habit. We can't. Progress requires that we don't live in fear. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's the bottom line. If you want to progress, you have to realize that there's a risk involved. You want the reward, you have to take the risk. If you don't take any risks, well, if you don't take any risks, you're either A, a banker, right? Because
Hmm.
it's like banking is like zero risk, right? Because the money just comes around and you print more, or you just type in whatever. There's yes, banks crash, yes, mistakes get made, but they're not unexpected. So I mean, the, if you don't take any risk, you won't get anywhere. Parents understand that, and leaders of companies need to understand that as well. Fear is paralysis. It stops the movement of anything. It stops growth. So the only way forward is to realize that the risk exists, and we must all continue it. Western society is based upon this risk. What is the alternative? Nothing.
No.
I mean, we are relatively comfortable in the way we live in Western society. Perhaps we need to get uncomfortable with the way we live. Perhaps we need to get uncomfortable with the choices that we have to make. We can't. No other economy can be. Economies can't run on fear in the long term. You can sell things based on fear. You can sell things based on people's pain points and pressure points. It's not. I'm not sure it's an ethical thing to do, but it does exist. There's, it comes down to a choice, really. At the end of the day, it's the love and fear choice that people make, where you can build an economy based on fear and fear of death, or you can build an economy based on love of life. It's almost spiritual. I don't want to say that business is spirituality, but we're back to that question. We're back to that point. Do you want to do it because you love it, or do you want to do it because you're scared of the consequences? And right now we've chosen this fear-based paradigm, and it's going to have extremely negative consequences for anybody who invests in it, because it doesn't have a good end point. Because more leads to more. Whatever you do more of, you can create more of. Usually, within reason, more exercise leads to more exercise. More leads to more. Whatever you do, more leads to more. More fear will just lead to more fear. It's not going to work in the long term. It'll work for 5 minutes in a business sense, but it won't work beyond that. Yeah, it's not a good place to go. The mafia tried it, right? It doesn't lead to a very nice place when you use fear as your tactic, especially in society. It doesn't build very open and friendly societies that way. So yeah, there's a lot of issues. People, and it's almost exactly the same here. What you described as a problem is the same problem for companies here. And there's only one solution. And it's the solution of non-compliance, which is that companies are going to have to do the opposite of what government tells them, which is a really, really, really hard road. But that's it. They're going to have to do the opposite. Just because something wrong is wrong. I mean, what kind of argument do people want? Wrong is wrong. It's just wrong, right? It's just wrong to keep things locked down and shut up, and we need to be able to get on with stuff. So, and the original point that I wanted to make was about crisis management. I just that these companies have not managed the crisis very well. They've not. I don't think they were ready for it, and I don't think they've reacted to it in the right way either. They reacted quite quickly, and I think better would have been a slow response to things.
Mm-hmm.
But who am I to tell people what to do? I don't know. I don't know what they need to do.